South China Morning Post, 9th of December 2022. According to China, small American manufacturers are yearning for discussion to resume amid the US-China trade war. Trade tariffs have affected those who drop ship from Alibaba by purchasing inexpensively and reselling expensively. The worst affected sector has been low-quality trade. American dropshippers and small manufacturers hope the Biden administration will take advantage of the window of opportunity to have a productive conversation with China and resolve the lengthy trade dispute between the two biggest economies in the world. Following President Xi Jinping's meeting with Vice President Joe Biden at the Group of 20, G20, conference in Indonesia last month, there is new optimism. However, not much time is left before the 2024 U.S. presidential election campaigning begins. Mitchell Spencer, president of Polaris Rare Earth Materials, who founded his rare earth business in the U.S. state of Indiana with a Chinese partner 21 years ago and is heavily influenced by China for his company, said, "The U.S. and its Western partners should engage with China on trade and keep working together." Due to one of the items that Spencer's company imports being on the list of punishing tariffs, very painful U.S. tariffs have cost Spencer's business roughly $200,000 yearly over the previous 4 years. These tactics include looking into new export markets, cutting back on imports from China, and increasing consumer prices. Spencer said, "There's not much we can do. We might have to put up with it until the two governments renegotiate the tariffs. There could be a window of opportunity until the next U.S. presidential campaign of 1 year." Kurt Lammons Polyvents, a company in the U.S. state of Alabama that specializes in the plastic repair and refinishing goods frequently used in auto repairs, is attempting to increase exports to the largest automotive market in the world and is hopeful that the third largest automotive market in the world will be open to trade, India. The president of the business stated, "Right now, we only have one customer in China. We must spread to other civilized nations, like India." Lammon added that his business has been importing fewer goods from China. This has made it possible for Polyvents to purchase from American vendors without paying the import duties levied on Chinese components and items. Lammon has investigated the so-called China Plus One method by looking into Vietnam, like some other foreign investors in China. Still, his business has not discovered anything as cheap as the Chinese vendor. He continued, "We can't relocate operations like Apple or Foxconn. I sincerely hope Biden would implement some adjustments, since the political climate in America is not conducive to a balanced relationship with China. China is engaged in a full-scale conflict with the United States." Following the meeting between Xi and Biden, the U.S. Trade Representative, USTR, Catherine Tai, and Minister Wang Wentao held productive discussions in Thailand, according to the China Ministry of Commerce last month. The impetus for a limited elimination of the tariff slowed this summer, according to Benjamin Kostreva, a former assistant general counsel with the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative who is now a foreign legal consultant with the law firm Hogan Lovells. However, he added that there is still hope for some targeted relief for U.S. industries, particularly because this appears to be the last time that the tariffs will be assessed during the Biden administration. The Office of the U.S. Trade Representative is seeking input from businesses and importers on whether and how they should continue, modify, or rescind the Section 301 tariffs, which cover more than $350 billion in annual imports from China. This is part of a statutorily required 4-year review of the taxes. Kostreva suggested that companies requesting relief make an effort to submit their comments addressing the 301 procedure flaws before the January deadline. As the USTR began its 4-year assessment in July, Biden's staff debated whether to lower import duties from China to slow the rate of inflation that was out of control. However, the USTR's receipt of more than 400 requests to maintain the tariffs complicated this judgment. Numerous of these demands were from unions, a significant supporter of Biden who has referred to himself as the most pro-labor president in history. The U.S.-China Business Council's Craig Allen expressed optimism that the two sides' trade disputes would be resolved amicably. Biden's internal decision will impact the nation's China policy. "We expect that after the two sessions meeting in March of next year, governments from both countries may engage in discussions once more," he continued, referring to a new trade mechanism between the two nations that both leaders discussed at the G20 summit. The fact that U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Tai have conflicting opinions on the tariffs imposition further complicates the situation. Yellen has stated that lowering the charges could drive down costs, but Tai has shown no evidence of doing so following the G20 meeting between Xi and Biden. Industry participants anticipate that the U.S. export controls imposed on the semiconductor industry will only apply to high-tech and politically sensitive sectors. Before the government implements any such policies, according to Spencer with Polaris Rare Earth Materials, there needs to be more cautious long-term planning on the future of the U.S. manufacturing sector. According to Kostreva, U.S. government officials have publicly indicated that similarly severe limits might be enforced on other technologies, such as artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and other strategic industries. However, the timing and breadth of those restrictions remain debatable.